light is red, the kids are in bed, which means it is time for Mile High Musings with me, Aaron Yowell, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Episode 16 of Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Aaron Yowell, and I hope you had a fantastic week. We have a lot to get to, so we're going to get right to it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports fans of all ages, it is time we ascend to the top of the peak and breathe in that rarefied mountain air as I bring you Sports Take a mile above the rest. What a time to be alive, Colorado sports fans. We've experienced a lot of greatness over the past 24 months, and on this morning's episode, we will talk about the defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets, Banner Night, the rings, the wins, and the fact that the Lakers look like they have already conceded the West to them. The Avalanche finally lost. I mean, I never expected them to go 82-0, but they're still seated nicely atop the Central Division, aren't they? And the Broncos got a win. Full stop. And in our last segment, it's bringing back crunch time. But before we get to that and all that is good, let's handle our business.
For the last 9 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports and with our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and all of our show pages with personal bios and the podcast feed for each individual show, including this one, Mile High Musings. Check out the show page at iesportsradio.com/Mile High Musings. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long-sleeve shirts, hoodies, and so much more. For nearly a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans and for the fans, and we thank each and every one of you for all of your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, sports fans? It's your boy Aaron Yowell from Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I am super excited to tell you about a new sponsor on the network, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm's Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket beef jerky offers gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. That's my favorite part. This is some of the best beef jerky you can get your hands on. Check them out online, planetjerky.com. Once again, a huge shout out to our sponsor, Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that is on a whole other planet. Like I said, we got a lot to get to today, so let's kick off today's episode of Mile High Musings on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, with segment 1, Lakers and Grizzlies and Banners. Oh my. Ladies and gentlemen, Tuesday night was even better than I imagined. To see that banner slowly make its way to the rafters of Ball Arena, I mean, more grown man tears. Y'all, those rings, if you haven't seen them yet, you need to Google the Nuggets championship rings. There's a dial on the back that makes them change colors in one section, like the top of the ring will change from gold to blue if you change the number from 1967 to 2023. It's insane. There's a ring on the inside of the big ring, rings on rings on rings on rings, for, quote, everyday wear. And they're just flipping huge, or gijumpus, as my penny would say. But the best part about Tuesday was not the rings, or the banner. It was the fact that the Nuggets straight dominated the Lakers. Yes, LeBron may have cut the lead to 3 against our influx bench, but when the gap was that close, Coach Malone put Jokic and the starters back in the game, and within a blink or a snap, the Nuggets dropped the nail in the coffin. The final was 119-107. Oh, and by the way, Jokic finished with a triple-double, whatever. Picking up right where he left off. Anthony Davis only scored he scored 17 points in the first quarter. That was a good start. But that's it. That's where his production ended. He looked so disinterested against Jokic, and I know this is a Nuggets podcast, but let me come at it from this perspective. Jokic lives rent-free in that dude's head so bad. And you can tell from like body language, not only of him, but of LeBron and Darvin Ham as they're watching Jokic just straight cook AD. And everybody talks about how AD is the like premier athletic big man, and Jokic looks like I don't know, I guess body type wise, a washed up maybe D1, D2, lower D1, D2 college player who's playing an old man's league body wise. And yet he goes out and puts up a 29-point, 13 rebound, 11 assist triple double, and outruns this quote-unquote athletic dude a lot. And I was listening to, I was on the road a lot again this week, but I was listening to one podcast. I will not name drop this one. I loved it. I used to listen to it a lot, but I think they're really seated nice and comfortably in the national media pocket, so they have some coastal bias. They said that Jokic was getting beat up and down the floor by AD. Well, it wasn't the game that I watched, because Jokic was outrunning AD on the floor the whole time. Hit me with that box score, big fella. Jokic, 29 points, 13 boards, 11 assists. Jamal, 21 points, and his came late when we needed it. 6 assists, 1 turnover. 6-1, gang. Woo! KCP, 20 points on 8 of 12 shooting. I don't know if y'all heard, but the Lakers, you know, the team that KCP won his first championship with, it was the bubble, but whatever. They didn't reach out. They didn't congratulate KCP. Those were quote-unquote supposed to be his boys. KCP is going to be a Nugget for life. Sorry, that's how we're going to remember him. Because he torched his old team. MPJ, slow shooting again, but 12 points, 12 boards. And MPJ is like really settling into the fact that he needs to do more than just shoot threes. He's rebounding, he's playing defense, he's cutting the bucket, all the things. And then AG had the workman's line, 15 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. One of the biggest questions coming into the season was the Nuggets bench. They had a good run where they were flying around playing crazy defense in the first half. And then in the second half, the bench unit had a bad run and let the Lakers shrink the lead to 3, as I said. But LeBron, who was quote-unquote load managing, played 29 minutes, and most of them came against our bench unit. So he was hunting Reggie Jackson, whatever. Bench is going to need a minute to gel, but you know, I really think their identity needs to be defense first. So Tuesday night, raise banners. Friday night, Nugs took on a depleted Memphis team who was without Ja Morant, who's still serving 25-game suspension, and Steven Adams, who tore his Achilles and is out for the season. So that stinks. I like Steven Adams. He's a good dude. He's a workhorse. Some people think he's a thug. I think he just plays hard. But Memphis is one of those teams that Jokic struggles against because I think it's because of the length of their off-ball defenders and the way that they bring help. That Jokic just, for whatever reason, decides to show that he's human against Memphis. But at the end of the night, the Nuggets came away with a 108-104 win. Jokic and Murray both finished with 22 points. Reggie Jackson contributed 16 off the bench. And it was an ugly game, and it was a lot closer than I wanted it to be. A lot of back and forth. Fourth quarter got tight. Bench is still trying to figure it out. Obviously, Reggie went big, but the bench unit as a whole still trying to figure out who they are and how they gel together. Christian Brown was the only non-starter who had a negative plus-minus in the game. Nuggets shot over 50% against the Lakers, and against the Grizzlies only shot 46% from the field and 66% from the free throw line, and they shot 75% from the free throw line against the Lakers. You have got to make your free throws. You are professional NBA players, and you get paid lots of money, and free throws are free. They're from 15 feet away, and nobody's guarding you. I think that was the difference. I think the fact that the Nuggets went 66% from the free throw line is what made that game close. Than it should have been. But, I mean, it is what it is. C'est la vie, ladies and gentlemen. The champs are 2-0. After opening night, they looked like the most dominant team in the league. They go into Memphis. Memphis depleted. But Memphis is also a hard place to play. Memphis had the best home record in the league last year. They were 36-5 at home. They match up well in places against the Nuggets. I think with Marcus Smart on the team, it might cause some problems for Jamal Murray. I'm not going to go ahead and say it's going to cause problems. I'm going to say it might cause problems for Jamal Murray, but he did toast Marcus Smart with a step back three. I watched that highlight about 3 or 4 times, and Marcus Smart, I don't know what happened to him, but ends up at the free throw line and leaves one of the best three-point shooters in the league wide open from the top of the key. That's a high percentage shot for Jamal. Also, if you haven't seen the highlight, and I think I've watched this one like 800 or 900 times since Friday night, of Jokic getting the ball right at the Nuggets bench and then throwing a touchdown pass to Aaron Gordon, and Aaron finishes it with the alley-oop. Not touchdown, hit him in the numbers, and he goes up and dunks it. No, in the air, AG catches it and throws it down. And it happens so fast that every camera doesn't pan fast enough to AG, and you just see him finishing the dunk, not the catch or anything like that. My dad sent me the highlight from Twitter yesterday. I was at Penny's Tumbling, and I had seen it, 500 or 600 times at that point, and giggled because that's what Jokic highlights make me do. And when I finally got home, because the gym has no service whatsoever, it's a tin box. I just texted my dad back. I said, "Yeah, whatever. Another day at the office for the best player in the world." Straight up. Like I said, we got a lot to get to, so that's going to round out our first segment. Denver takes on the OKC Thunder this afternoon. Oklahoma City, they're a good young team. Both teams from Ball Arena have a weird matinee schedule today. Ugh, whatever. But OKC scares me. Well, their future scares me. I think their projections scare me, and where this team can get to scares me if they can stay healthy. Right now, they're still learning to figure it out. They're still learning and figuring it out, and they have young pieces. So once they piece those together, they're going to challenge the Nuggets for sure. But it is a 1:30 Mountain tip off in OKC today. I'm interested to see how the Nuggets handle it. They're on the road. OKC's not that far from home, and it's on the way back home from Memphis. But matinee games are weird. Both Oklahoma City and the Nuggets come in 2-0, so it's going to be a good game. But coaches called the timeout. On the other side, let's talk hockey. You're listening to Mile High Musings on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, everyone? It's Drewski, the host of Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this station, we cover everything in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. From we cover the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings, Texas Rangers, TCU, SMU, we cover it all right here every Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you stay live with me on the Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Do give my boy Drewski a shout and a check out. Wednesdays, 8 Mountain, Heart of Texas Sports. Drewski's probably got a quick turnaround. Rangers lost game 2, unfortunately, in the World Series last night, and the Cowboys play at noon Central. So I know he's going to be up and at him real soon. And with the Rangers in the World Series, you know that the takes are going to be spicy. So head on over there. And he's got the Stars and the Mavs. Well, they're not better than the Nuggets and the Avs. So ha. Don't forget to give our show a follow at Mile High Musings _IESR at Twitter, X, whatever the heck it is. It's good to be back. It's good to have my voice back. I started to listen back to last week's episode. And if any of you made it through the whole episode, there was mic issues. A surprise, surprise, the squeakiest chair in the nation. And my terrible allergy sick voice, I had to turn myself off, partly because I'm critical of myself. But whatever, let's jump into segment 282-0 is out of the question. Ladies and gentlemen, our hopes and dreams are dashed. The season is over. Pack it up, trade them all. I'm just kidding. Are you kidding me? Avs played Tuesday and Saturday this week. Tuesday night was a busy sports night. I had the Nuggets and Lakers on the TV and the Avs on my phone. Pure sicko, you know. Why choose? I wanted my cake and I ate it too. One of my old high school classmates put something on Facebook and was like, what do I do? And I said, I hope both is the answer. I hope you watch both. She said they were flipping back and forth at her house. I can't imagine. I had to have them both on. Couldn't help it. Tuesday night, the Avs faced off against the New York Islanders. And Colorado got the 7-4 win. That's right. 7-4. They hung a touchdown on the Isles. Big Dogs were hunting on Tuesday. Goals from McKinnon, McCarr, and Renton. And 2 goals by Ryan Johansson, including the game opener on the power play. And Bowen Byram took a break from taking penalties to score a goal. And Ross Colton tallied his first goal with the Avs on an absurd ricochet into an empty net. The Avs put in 2 empty netters on Tuesday. I don't remember how often I've seen that. I can tell you it's not that often. But the Islanders had to do whatever they needed to do to get back in the game. Avs were up 2-1 at the end of the first period and then gave up 2 quick goals in the second to find themselves down 3-2. A lot like the Carolina game the Saturday before. And then Bowen Byram and Nathan McKinnon got the lead back to 4-3. Isles scored quickly in the third, and then the Moose got loose, ladies and gentlemen, netting the game winner before the Avs slid home 2 into the empty net. I mean, it was a weird night. Georgiev let a couple by that he shouldn't have, but there were a couple tip plays. I feel like Tuesday was just the Avs were better than the Isles by a lot. And that's where Bo Horvat wanted to go instead of coming to Colorado? Okay. And then Thursday, well, I said Tuesday, Saturday, and I'm a ding-dong. They played Tuesday, Thursday this week. What am I talking about? I don't even know days of the week. They all blend together. Thursday was a completely different night. A horse of a different color, you might say. It looked like the Avs didn't make the trip to Pittsburgh. Now, I'm going to give the Pens their flowers. They mucked up the neutral zone. I mean, the neutral zone. Check it out. IE Sports Radio. Adam Karnick. Check out the neutral zone. They had active sticks, making, tape-to-tape passes hard to complete for the Avs. But there were a couple times where the Avs just gave the puck away. And those couple times turned into bang-bang goals that Georgiev was out of position for. Including one in the third period where my boy, Nathan McKinnon, my favorite player on the team, turned one over right in the slot to his boy, his actual boy, Sidney Crosby, for the 4th goal. It just wasn't the Avs night. They looked disjointed. Let's use that word. It was the Avs' first road loss since some point last season. And the Avs and the Nuggets with all the 3 games a week. You saw in the first segment. I'm going to try to keep it short. Tell you what I liked, what I didn't like. Big observations from the week. If I can generalize things, I will. But let me tell you what I haven't liked this week. And really, it actually kind of goes back to the Carolina game. And it is what it is. First thing I don't like is the third defensive pair of Jack Johnson and Josh Manson. I don't like it because they're just god-awful. And they're way better at hockey than I am, clearly. I've never been on ice skates in my life. 6'7", 270 on ice skates, just that feels like a recipe for disaster. And the problem that I have is not actually that they're awful. It's that if you split them up, if you were to put Manson with Byram and Jack Johnson with Sammy G or vice versa, because you're not splitting up McCarr and Taves. Get wrecked. They actually make their pair mate worse. I don't... Hot Sports opinion and bold prediction, I hesitate at this because all of my predictions have been pretty much garbage since summer for the most part. I don't see that pair together much longer. And I don't know that we see Jack Johnson and or Josh Manson. Well, I don't know that we see Jack Johnson getting ice time by the end of the season. If we're firmly in control of our own destiny as the season winds down next spring, be looking for Sam Malinsky or some of those younger defensemen. Y'all, that static came back, and I have not touched the microphone. I am so sorry. Ugh. Resources, gang. I wish I had more. I don't see Jack Johnson getting ice time later in the playoffs, especially if we're in control of our own destiny. Second thing I don't like from the week is that the Avs were getting too cutesy, especially in the Pittsburgh game, and especially on the power play. They were 0 for 5 in the power play in the Pittsburgh game, and I saw habits from last year that used to drive me nuts, where they were being really cutesy on the power play, trying to make too many passes. You know, the extra pass works in basketball to a point, but even the extra pass in basketball gets to be too much. The extra pass in hockey can kill you sometimes. I just feel like 0 for 5 on the power play. Avs weren't getting any shots on net, and Pittsburgh goalie was pulling a Mackenzie Blackwood for sure. Tari, that was his name. He was pulling a Mackenzie Blackwood, stopping Jonathan Drouin on some good chances, 5-on-5 play, and the Avs just weren't putting enough pucks on net in the power play to make any noise. And they had scored on the power play the game before. It was frustrating because it was like, oh, I've seen this movie before. It was last year, and it was when they went on that terrible slide at the end of the calendar year, right at the beginning of the calendar year. And the last thing that's driving me crazy, and this is nitpicky, but I have 100% faith in Coach Bednar as one of the longest tenured coaches in the National Hockey League. You're doing something right. I think he is spoiled. I think we're all spoiled right now, actually, as Avalanche fans, because he is constantly swapping forwards, the top 9 forwards anyways, and that's making chemistry hard to come by. You see with the Denver Nuggets and their starting 5, and I know it's different because hockey, you change lines constantly, but the chemistry for the Denver Nuggets starting 5 is out of this world. It's literally unlike anything I've seen since pick a 3-peat Bulls. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Michael Jordan was just a killer and he didn't like to lose. But the best line from Thursday night's game against Pittsburgh was the fourth line. Why? Because they're the only line that's been together since game 1. I love that we have forward depth like never before. Maybe not quite like never before, but definitely since I was in school. But, Coach Bednar needs to lock in his lines, and I respect him. It's game 8 today. And we're talking small sample size. He's got a brand new team. He's got a whole brand new third line. He's trying to figure out what goes where. And I trust him, but we got to find some consistency. Those guys have got to start playing together on a regular basis. It's okay to switch up a line here and there in the game, looking for something. Maybe you find a matchup that you like. I get that, but we got to find some consistency. You got to find the right guys that go alongside Nathan McKinnon. Thomas Tatar is up from the third line. He and Drouin swapped, so Tatar's up from the third line, playing on the first line with McKinnon. I get it, but also you need a facilitator. Val Nichushkin's been on the first line. I don't know that he's the best alongside Nate because Val needs puck touches. I think that, I mean, look at last year alone. McKinnon and Ranson next to each other is stupid. It's unstoppable. So, if we're going to be switching up the lines, go back to the lines from opening night. Give me the lines from the 5-2 drubbing in L.A. Avs played today at 11 Mountain. Woof. Woof. We have a busy day of Colorado sports, y'all. Avs at 11, Nuggets at 1:30, Broncos at 2:25. Those weird matinee games. And I'm wondering, I haven't checked, because I just assumed that I wasn't going to be able to watch the Avs game. Usually these weird 11 o'clock puck drops, the East Coast stuff, they're like NHL Network ones. And ESPN plus Hulu plus plus. They don't carry those, and Hulu doesn't have the NHL Network. So I don't know, we'll see. And I'm not, y'all, I'm an Avs sicko, but I am not. Let me find some sketchy sites to pirate the hockey game just yet. I'm not there yet. Win 2 in a row, and I will be. I said it. But like I said, Avs at 11, Nuggets at 1:30, Broncos at 2:25. Speaking of the Broncos, Let's talk about a win. You're listening to Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right. Welcome to AZ Sports Daily. I'm your host, Kieran Daly, bringing the heat to Arizona sports. There's no discrimination here. We're going to talk about every sports team, professional and college. The show is all about you, the listener. I'm here to entertain you. Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here? It's going to be fun, high energy. You may not agree with what I say. That's okay. Let me hear you. Let's talk about it. Join me every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on AZ Sports Daily. That's AZ Sports, Daily, and at IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Yo, Kieran's energy alone on that plug got me hyped. And I was hyped when I turned on the theme music this morning. But give Kieran's show a listen. His D-backs are in the World Series too. So, and they came off a win last night. Now, as a Rockies fan, I can't support the D-backs in this World Series. Also, the fact that I live in DFW means I should support the Rangers. Hello. If the Rockies aren't there. But give Kieran's show a listen. Especially if you're like at a baseball right now. If you like at a baseball. Gang, we're back. Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And my God, we get to talk about a Broncos win, baby. I mean, y'all, when the week starts with the Broncos getting their first home win before the Nuggets raised the banner, by Wednesday, I thought maybe I'd died and gone to heaven. Avs won, Nuggets won, Broncos won. It was a really, really awesome 72 hours there for us. And it may not have been a pretty win last weekend, damn it, but I will take it. I'll take anything I can get from this team. I told y'all, it's kind of turned into the Rockies. I'm looking for silver linings wherever I can. And I guess that's just where I'm at right now. Like, the Rockies, I love the Rockies. I want them to be great every year. I do. But they've been bad for so many years. I'm just like, well, that stinks. You got some good young talent. Okay. Look at this as a fall episode. The Rockies are making the show. Love it. Broncos, been bad for 8 years. Don't like a lot. I like their head coach. And maybe people are thinking that was a dumb move. But I really like our head coach. And I like some of the pieces that we
Go
have.
Broncos!
Whoa, yeah, Penny. Go Broncos. But let's talk about the win. Broncos beat the Packers 19-17 behind the leg of Will Lutz. Fantasy kicker. Yeah, boy. I still lost the game, though. Oh, and one tutty by Cortland Sutton. I'm telling you, man. Ugh, I love that dude. I think he's a great receiver. I think he didn't bounce back from his injury as intensely as maybe the Broncos wanted or maybe Broncos country wanted, but he's Mr. Reliable, man. He needs lots of targets and lots of touches because he's good. He's not an emotional player like Jerry Jeudy is. Jerry Judy's a good player, but he needs touches early and often to get his confidence going, to get him feeling himself. Cortland Sutton's just good. He's just good. Russell Wilson was 20 of 29 for 194 yards. And said touchdown. It's not like it was snowing or cold. It was a nice day. Throw the ball. It's so crazy how the first, 3 games, he looks like a world beater. And then the next 4 games, he looks scared. I don't know. It's frustrating. Javonte Williams carried the ball 15 times for 82 yards. Thank you very much. Cortland Sutton had 6 catches for 76 yards and said touchdown. As a team, Broncos ran the ball for 145 yards and minus a stupid end around, which they just need to take out of the playbook because every time we run it, it's either a double-digit yard loss or something happens in the exchange and we lose the ball. It ended up being closer to 160, right? I said on the Big Cheese Sports Show not too long after our show last weekend, the Broncos were going to need to run the football and control the line of scrimmage to win the game. I must be a genius. No, not really. But I will say that we'll get this in crunch time, but last night during the Colorado game, not only was I calling plays ahead of time, I was saying things, and then Herb Street was saying it, or Fowler was saying it. And I looked at my mom, and I was like, I don't know why I don't get paid for this. My armchair quarterbacking is next level. I digress. I'm going to tell you right now that for weeks I've been calling for the Broncos to run the football. If you're an everydayer, God love you. I appreciate you. But you've heard me say over and over and over that we've got to run it and 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 boom. Game plan should be no different today against the Chiefs. It should be no different. Ooh, this just in. Should be noted, we have breaking sports news. The Chiefs did, in fact, make the trip to Denver without their greatest weapon. That's right. Taylor Swift will not, I repeat, will not be at the game today. Now's our chance, boys. Take them down. What a world we live in, huh? What a time to be alive. You know, a couple Thursdays ago, the Broncos gave the Chiefs a great punch. And I have no reason to be optimistic. But I feel the same way today that I did before the Green Bay game, where it's like, hey, anything could happen. Why not? Why not get a W today? Why not punch him in the mouth at home? It snowed last night in Colorado. Winter storm warning and all. They're going to have to run the football. They're going to have to run the football, and I think they should, because I think Kansas City's front 5 or 6, when they start bringing that linebackers, they're coming. They're coming for Russ, and Russ is not ready. Broncos need to run the football. They've invested in good running backs. Javonte is healthy, and he looks good. Run the ball, boys. Run the ball. You won 150 yards as a team. It keeps the ball out of Mahomes and Maato's hands. Keeps them on the sidelines. And there's something demoralizing. I remember coaching, and when a team was just running against us, or when we were running against the team, you just saw it. You just saw how the other team gets tired, man. Football's a physical game. You run the football, you're hitting each other constantly. It starts to take a toll. Run it, baby. Run it, run it, run it, run it. I don't know. Feels like the right time, though. Feels like the right time this weekend to beat a team that we haven't since my wife walked down the aisle in her wedding dress. 225 Mountain kickoff, gang. The Owl House will be primed and ready. I hear lasagna's on the menu. Let's go. I will get my abs. I will get my nuggets. Broncos, here we go. Y'all, I've been so frustrated this year, but at the end of the day,
in this house, we praise the Lord and cheer for them Denver Broncos.
And we always will do those two things. But we're going to take one more quick break. We're going fast and going short this morning because there is a lot of sports for us to get to in the Owl House. On the other side of this break, it's crunch time. You are listening to Mile High Musings on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter, at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter, at any time. Be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Y'all give the Sin City Sports Show a follow, a listen. Kale's great, does a great job on that show, and you can tell I'm in a generous, gracious Sunday morning mood when I'm giving love to the city that is home to the Raiders and VGK. Avs have a big game against Vegas coming up, so you might want to be prepared before lacing them up against the defending Stanley Cup champions. They deserve their flowers too. Y'all, it's crunch time. We haven't done crunch time in a couple weeks. But let's get to some college crunch time and a look at the sports week ahead for us Colorado sports fans as we wrap up episode 16. Episode 16, we're here. Jake the Snake's number, baby. CU played last night. I don't know if you heard about this. In Pasadena. Little old lady from Pasadena. That's right. The Buffs were at the Rose Bowl, sold it out. And it was a really wacky game. It was ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. And I will tell you this. I tweeted this during the show, or during the game last night. But could you imagine, picture, if you will, a world in which the Colorado Buffaloes line was half as talented and half as good as the skill players. You'd be living in the Twilight Zone. It'd be scary, gang, because our offensive line is losing games for us right now. They're losing games for us. They cannot, quarterbacks are taught to have a quick clock, right? They're taught to have a quick internal clock so that they know I only have 2 seconds before I get that ball out. And they're not even giving Shador that long. And Coach Prime said it after the game. Bottom line, you got to go get offensive linemen. They have too good a quarterback, and they can't get a run game going because the offensive line, and I know they shuffled people, but they're looking to see what works. You've got to start winning the line of scrimmage. I was prepping for the show last night while the game was going on, and I mean, I will tell you straight up that at one point, and I am live looking this up, CU had a 4-0 edge in the turnover battle. 4-0 edge. When you have that kind, and they finished with a 4-0 edge in the turnover battle. When you win the turnover battle 4-0, you spank teams. You spank teams. And at first I was like, man, tomorrow's episode is going to be Buffs defense comes up roses, because they were getting turnovers, they were flying around, and then they didn't. Shador finished with 217 yards passing and a touchdown. The leading rusher for the CU Buffaloes had 14 yards. As a team, the Buffs had 25 rushing yards. And it's not just the physicality, it's the time of possession. Like I was talking about with the Broncos, you keep the other team on the sidelines. Buffs lost the time of possession battle. They had less first downs. They almost got doubled up in yardage. In fact, they did get doubled up in total yardage. And in the first half, it looked like CU was going to kind of have their way with the quarterbacks of UCLA. And then things kind of figured it out. Buffs fall to 4-4 on the season, 1-4 in conference. I told y'all, coming off the bye week, I told y'all it was gonna be tough. It was gonna be tough, and they should have taken advantage of some of those games. The Stanford game they should have won. They'd at least be sitting at 5-3. I guess that's really the only game they could have taken advantage of, because Oregon State, Arizona, Washington State, Utah, 2 top 15 teams round out the schedule. It is what it is, gang. Alas, they are 4-4. CSU and Air Force played last night. Yeah, we haven't talked about CSU or Air Force in a while. They played up in Fort Collins. The Falcons ranked 19th in the nation. And they got their best. They got a good punch from Air Force. Tied 13 going into halftime. Air Force came out and did what Air Force does. They control the ground game. And because it was snowing up in Fort Collins, what a perfect day to be an Air Force Falcon. For sure. Falcons finished the game with 259 yards rushing.
I got to give it to the CSU, and I don't a lot because I am definitely a CU homer, but CSU's jerseys last night were straight fire. They were the Colorado State flag version of the jerseys, and they were pure fire last night. They looked so good. Taryn, thanks for checking into the chat. Our first morning chatter since we switched time slots. I hope you're having a good morning, Taryn, and the show's been great, I think. I like it. But those jerseys were straight fire from CSU last night. But with snow falling in Fort Collins, the running game of Air Force just proved to be too much, and the Falcons remain undefeated. I don't know. Something's right in the world when Air Force is good, too, you know? Y'all, it's a busy week for us. We're going to wrap up today's episode here with a preview of coming attractions, if you will, because there's some potential for some really great sports coming up. Nuggets play today, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday this week. Let's run these down real quick. Today they play at OKC again. I already mentioned that. Monday at home against Utah. Wednesday on the road at Minnesota. Friday at home against Dallas. I see you, Drewski. That one's on ESPN. Saturday at home against Chicago. Adam. That one's on NBA TV. So they got a lot going on. And the Avs this week play today, 11 o'clock. Oh, that one is, now that I'm checking, I will be able to watch today's game. So it's on ESPN plus. And then Wednesday night, at home against St. Louis, 7:30 puck drop on TNT. And then, as I was saying before, Saturday at Vegas, 8 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Central, at VGK on ESPN plus. And then, of course, the Broncos play the Chiefs today and then are on the bye week. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports fans of all ages, that will wrap it up for us today here on Mile High Musings on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And don't forget to check out all the shows on the network. Head over to social media, give us a follow. And it's your boy, Aaron Yowell, thanking you again for being with us. And a big old fat Mile High salute signing off from the top of the mountain. You stay good out there, sports fans.